Chapter 8, Networks, the Internet, World Wide Web. One of the biggest reasons for the widespread popularity of personal computers has been the Internet and especially the World Wide Web. Internet and World Wide Web have allowed the computer to be used as a communications device in addition to being a computation device. People have come to rely on the computers, internet, World Wide Web for a wide range of services. The internet is a worldwide collection of networks linking millions, businesses, government agencies, educational institutions, and just plain individuals. It was originally developed as a project by DARPA. It came first into being in 1964 when it consisted of only 4 sites, and it has grown. Up in 2014, there were 7.2 billion sites. By 2020, there were about 4.5 billion different people. That's about more than half the world's population with access to the internet. The architecture of the network, of the internet, is based on the TCP/IP protocol. TCP/IP protocols were designed to connect any kinds of networks. The internet system architecture consists of small local internet service providers. Those connect the individuals and local sites to medium-sized regional networks. The regional networks connect the medium-sized networks, connect the local networks to larger national networks, and then the national networks are connected to the backbone, the high bandwidth networks that make up the internet. The term bandwidth is often used to describe the amount of data transferred or the website to server within a prescribed period of time. That is, how fast data is transferred. It's usually described as a number of bits per second, technically not correct, but a very common usage. The companies running the internet backbone operate very high bandwidth networks relied on by governments, corporations, big organizations, and other ISPs. The physical infrastructures often include global connection through underwater cables and satellite links. These connections enable the communication between different countries and even different continents. The internet has had a profound effect, mainly because it provides a number of valuable services. Among these services are email, file transfer, FTP, instant messaging, VoIP, chat rooms, and probably the most widely known, World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is a system of web pages. A web page is a digital document or other kind of web resource which is identified using an URL and linked to other documents by hypertext links. These web pages can be accessed through the internet using a program called a browser. The World Wide Web was first designed and built by Tim Berners-Lee in 1889. He wrote the first web browser in 1990 while he was employed at CERN. The public use of the internet and the World Wide Web in particular really took off in the early 1990s, sparked primarily by the release of Mosaic in 1993. Mosaic was the first widely available browser that had graphic capabilities. Earlier browsers were text only. Later, Mark Andreessen and his team, who designed the original Mosaic, formed a company. They produced and marketed Netscape Navigator starting in 1994. In 1995, Microsoft released its browser, Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer quickly became the most widely used browser in the world, largely because it was free, and the earlier ones were not. Later, Google Chrome overtook Microsoft Internet Explorer. www, World Wide Web, is so widely and commonly used, many people fail to understand that there's more to the internet than just the web. www is, in fact, only one of many services provided by the internet. The underlying concept defining the structure of the World Wide Web is hypertext. Hypertext is text that displayed on your computer display or other device, which contains a reference or a hyperlink to other web elements. Hypertext pages are interconnected by these hyperlinks. These hyperlinks are typically activated by a mouse click, a key press sequence, or by touching the text on a screen. The types of elements that can be linked include text, tables, images, videos, sounds, and other content. World Wide Web pages are often written using hypertext markup language, HTML. The first browsers could only display text, but with the release of graphic browsers, beginning first with Mosaic, multimedia websites and interactive web pages became possible and common. HTML programs control the way browsers display text and images on computer screens. They also control the display of videos and sound and provide means for users to interact with the pages by entering text, checking boxes, selecting sections of text, or other objects. The introduction of smartphones brought a major change in the way web pages had to be designed. Cell phones are much, much smaller than a typical computer screen. A phone, you're maybe 4 to 5 inches, where your small laptop computer would have a screen 14 or 15 inches. Cell phone displays are much smaller than displays on computers. Web pages designed to display on large computer screens don't display well on small cell phone screens. Special browsers, called micro browsers, have been created to display web pages on small smartphone screens. And many websites provide alternative versions of their pages that are designed to display on small screens. The function of a web server is to store web pages and deliver them on demand. The communication between client and server takes place using Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. Most web pages are HTML documents. The HTML document will normally include text content, but can also include images, style sheets, scripts. Many web servers use scripting languages to support server-side scripting. Some popular scripting languages are ASP, PHP, Python. Usually, scripting function is used to generate HTML documents dynamically. Very often, they're also used to access data from a database. Electronic mail or email is a method of exchanging digital messages from one sender to another recipient or multiple recipients. Email was in fact the very first service was implemented on the internet. Today's email service systems are all based on a store and forward model. The email server receives and forwards and delivers and stores messages. The senders and receivers do not have to be online simultaneously. They connect by means of a mail server. The sender's message is stored on the mail server until the receiver logs on and downloads the message. It costs very little to send email messages, and many people have taken advantage of this to send numerous unsolicited messages, often advertising products or promoting get-rich schemes. This unsolicited email is often called spam. Email is convenient for direct communications for one user to another, but it's not all that efficient when you want to transfer a large data file, a big computer program, graphic images, audio files, videos, so on. FTP, File Transfer Protocol, was developed. It's a standard network protocol used for transferring computer files from one host to another over a TCP-based network like the Internet. Instant messaging, IM, is a type of online chat which offers real-time text transmission over the Internet. IM requires that the parties be online simultaneously. They both have to be online in order to exchange transmissions using IM. Short messages are typically transmitted between the two parties. The user enters the text to be sent, and when he's got it completely entered, presses send. Voice over IP, VoIP, is a methodology for delivering voice and other kinds of multimedia communications over the Internet. Other terms used for VoIP are IP telephony, Internet telephony, and broadband phone service. There are several companies providing VoIP services. The most famous, most widely known is Skype. The term chat room is used to describe real-time conferencing, usually with intercommunication in a group of users. Generally speaking, it's conversing with multiple people that distinguishes chat rooms from instant messages. Instant messages is typically used for one-on-one communications. Newer technology enables file sharing and sharing of webcams to be used with chat programs and instant messaging for that matter. Users in a given chat room tend to be connected by a common interest. And there are lots of different chat rooms for lots of different subjects. America Online, AOL, was one of the early pioneers of the Internet in the mid-1990s. For a time, AOL was the most recognized brand in the web in the United States. It would be difficult to underestimate the influence of AOL on the development of the Internet. At one point, over 50% of the CDs sold and purchases in the world had the AOL logo on them. Originally, AOL provided on dial-up service connecting millions of Americans. It provided the web portal, email, instant messages, and following purchase of Netscape, a web browser. In 2001, at the height of its popularity, AOL purchased the media conglomerate Time Warner. It was the largest merger in U.S. history. Not too long after that, AOL declined in popularity and influence, largely due to its dependence on dial up service and the rise of the broadband offered by other services. The term e-commerce refers to trading in products or services using computer communications. Normally in the internet. E-commerce is faster, cheaper, more convenient than traditional methods of buying and selling goods and services. Usually it can be divided into three classifications: business to computer, consumer, consumer to consumer, business to business. B2C, business to consumer, refers to transactions in which a consumer or user purchases goods or services from a business. The largest company that specializes in B2C business is Amazon. Online shopping is a form of electronic commerce that allows the consumers, users, to buy goods and services from a vendor using the internet and a web browser. An online shop evokes the physical analogy of buying products or services at a bricks and mortar retailer or shopping center, even to the point where providing an electronic shopping cart to allow the users to select several items to purchase before paying for an entire selection. Consumer to consumer, C2C, refers to transactions in which one individual purchases goods or services from another individual. eBay is an American multinational corporation and e-commerce company that provides or supports consumer to consumer as well as business to consumer sales services via the internet. Business to business, B2B, refers to electronic commerce between businesses. B2B businesses often deal with hundreds or even thousands of other businesses, either as customers or suppliers. Carrying out these transactions electronically provides major competitive advantages over more traditional methods. The number of B2B e-commerce transactions is much greater than the number of B2C and C2C. The development of widespread e-commerce is supported by the parallel development of electronic means for transferring value using computer networks, especially the internet. Larger businesses, especially banks, have long made many of their payments by electronic file transfer, but the virtually universal availability of electronic communication has brought this capability down to the level of the individual consumer. This includes, but not restricted to, the use of credit or debit cards for making payments. In fact, in the US, generally only the smallest transactions are paid in cash, and society seems to be evolving toward a cashless economy. Mobile payments refer to payments made using mobile device, such as a cell phone, because there are more and more people carrying smartphones. There have been several different ways developed to let consumers use their phones to make payments. There are several different ways you can pay with a phone, several different technologies. One of these is NFC, near field communication payments. The use of NFC for payments is growing rapidly. Digital wallets using NFC for contactless card machines include Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay. NFC phones communicate with the NFC enabled card machines using close proximity radio frequency identification. The mobile phone doesn't have to touch the point of sale to transfer the information, but they do have to be close, within a few inches of the terminal. NFC involves direct, almost instantaneous transfer of encrypted data to the point of sale device. This is in contrast to the chip and pin technology. These would take longer to process, not quite as fast. Many mobile phone operators are looking at ways to make this technology even better, develop it even further. Sound wave based or sound signal based mobile payments are a newer solution that works for most mobile phones. Transactions are processed, they don't need the internet, they're processed through sound waves containing encrypted data about the payment. Sound waves sent from the terminal to the mobile phone to convey payment details. The customer's phone then converts that data into analog signals that finalize the transaction. Instead of using built-in technology like NFC, a mobile wallet, a banking app, or a card terminal just needs software installation. There's no need for any extra hardware. Phones deal with sound. That's what telephones deal with. That makes it an affordable solution, especially in areas and countries where people can't afford the latest smartphones, would have to rely on more basic technology, sound technology, telephone-based technology to process their payments. Magnetic transmission, MST payments, are a third way for a mobile phone and card terminal to process payments. Samsung Pay uses both MST and NFC payments for their contactless mobile phone payments. With MST, a phone emits a magnetic signal that imitates the magnetic strip on the payer's credit card. The card terminal picks up the signal and processes it just the same way that it would if a physical card were swiped through the machine. Some card machines require a software update in order to deal with MST, but most of the newer terminals come with MST installed already. Magnetic secure transmission is just as secure as NFC. They both use a secure tokenization system, and it is safer than using a traditional physical credit card. A mobile wallet or digital wallet stores payment information on a mobile device using an app. It can utilize several different technologies in the payment process, although NFC is the most common. Other modalities, including QR codes, have been used. QR codes, quick response codes, have many uses. They're often found in advertising, on product labels, and in many random places. It's not really common knowledge, but they can also be used to make payments. These payments are made using some certain banking apps where the cards are already associated, and other apps by stores and providers that have your card details as well. You have to aim the camera carefully to match the indicators on the phone screen before the app can scan the code. People report this being something of a hassle, not only getting the QR code aligned correctly on the screen, but first have to open the relevant app to identify the code. Many people simply pay using the phone browser or apps. They use the internet. In order to use the internet, they have to have a good network signal, either Wi-Fi or reasonably high speed network signals. It can be done several different ways. You can enter your card details on the website, and then the website gets to process your credit card like any other computer with an internet connection. They can automatically charge a bank card attached to the mobile app. You can use PayPal, or you can follow a link to a digital invoice that was emailed to you. SMS payment or premium SMS simply means paying for products or service via a text message. Once you submit the text message with the relevant information to the proper phone number, the payment amount is added to your mobile phone bill. In effect, you pay through your phone network provider, just like you pay your phone bill. It wasn't very long ago that SMS payments were the most popular method for using mobile phones to pay for goods or services, even for person-to-person payments, or to make donations to charity, primarily due to the simplicity. All you need is a phone with text capability and a prepaid SIM card or a phone contract. With the increase of more advanced smartphones, other modes of mobile payment have seen faster growth. Direct carrier billing, DCB, is a way to pay using your mobile carrier instead of bank details, card details. You enter your phone number on a payment page or into a payment app. And after authentication to confirm that you're the owner of that number, usually by confirming that you received a text message, the payment gets deducted from your phone bill or from a prepaid card, as with SMS payments. Digital services like Google Play and App Store offer this option to pay, the DCB option for paying. It's also used for TV voting, charity donations, and subscriptions for digital content. With the widespread acceptance of payment by electronic transfer, digital currencies have come into existence. Digital currency is a kind of currency available only in digital form, not in physical form. Can be used for paying, as just like physical currencies, but it allows for instantaneous transactions and transfer of ownership over borders. Digital currencies include virtual currencies and cryptocurrencies, as well as some central bank issued digital base current monies. Like traditional money, these currencies can be used to buy physical goods and services, but they can also be restricted to certain communities, for example, for use inside an online game or in a given social network. Cryptocurrencies are a kind of alternative digital currency. Cryptocurrencies use decentralized control as opposed to centralized electronic money and central banking systems. Decentralized control of cryptocurrencies work through a distributed ledger technology, typically a blockchain. It serves as a public financial transaction database. A blockchain is a growing list of record called blocks, that are linked and secured using cryptography. Each block typically contains a pointer as a link to a previous block, a timestamp, and transaction data. By design, blockchains are inherently resistant to modification. Bitcoin, first released as open source software in 2009, is generally recognized as being the first decentralized cryptocurrency. Since the release of Bitcoin, there have been over 4,000 altcoins, alternative variants of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. These cryptocurrencies are used primarily outside of the existing banking and governmental institutions. They are exchanged over the internet. As the popularity of demand for online currencies has increased, so have concerns that such unregulated person to person global economy may become a threat to society. Concerns that altcoins can support criminal activities. Cryptocurrency networks lack regulations. They have been criticized as enabling criminals who seek to evade taxes and to launder money. Transactions that occur through the use and exchange of altcoins are independent of formal banking systems and can make tax evasion simpler for individuals. Charting taxable income is based on what a recipient reports to the Revenue Service, and it is extremely difficult to account for transactions made using existing cryptocurrencies. Systems of anonymity that most cryptocurrencies offer can also serve as a means for laundering money. Instead of requiring an intricate net of financial actors and offshore bank accounts, laundering money through altcoin can be achieved simply through anonymous transactions. The blockchain technology that was introduced for use by cryptocurrencies has also been used to implement NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Just like with cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens are stored on a shared ledger that's implemented as a blockchain. The tokens provide records of who it is that owns something. These records cannot be forged because the ledger is maintained by thousands of computers around the world. The digital tokens are used as certificates or proofs of ownership for different kinds of assets, usually virtual assets. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are one-of-a-kind assets in the digital world. They can be bought and sold just like any other piece of property. But NFTs really don't have any tangible form of their own. They are entries in a digital ledger. They've come into prominence for the use as proof of ownership of original copies for works of digital art. Some of these have been traded for millions of dollars. An NFT token can also contain a contract, a smart contract. The common use is to require that any sale of the token provides the artist with a share of the transaction price. A wiki is a website that allows collaborative modification of its content and structure. The encyclopedia project Wikipedia is by far the most popular, best-known wiki-based website. In fact, Wikipedia is one of the most widely viewed sites of any kind anywhere in the world. The philosophy with a wiki is to make it easier for mistakes to be corrected instead of avoiding the mistakes in the first place. Critics of publicly editable wiki systems argue that these systems can be tampered with, but proponents argue that the large community of users will catch any malicious content quickly and correct it.